Hey everyone, it's been well over 2 minutes and I haven't been raped yet. I'm starting to think maybe, just maybe, feminists lie. Hi, I'm Diana Davison, and I've been talking a lot about the trial of Jian Ghomeshi, a former radio host who was falsely accused of sexual assault by a number of women and acquitted of all charges in a proper court of law. Of course, feminists shed many tears over the facts uncovered during the trial. Evidence that the women lied and colluded, committing the crimes of perjury, public mischief, and obstructing justice. To feminists, this little problem, to the narrative that women never lie about rape, was called whacking the witness. They claimed that Jian's lawyer, Marie Henein, should have a special place in hell. They implied that the women were being assaulted again in court by Ms. Henein's questions. They claimed that Henein was trying to bypass rape shield laws to humiliate the women. So, let's look at what Henein actually asked. Cross-examination by Ms. Henein. Let's just backtrack a little bit, Ms. Redgrave. Ms. Redgrave's name is no longer protected by publication ban, for any of those who are wondering. You go to the police on November the 1st, 2014, is that right? Yes. And you're going to the police to report an incident that occurred on December 2002. Right? In the car? Right. And January of 2003 in the house, the incidents you've told us about today, right? Yes. And when you go to the police station on November 1st, 2014, you know that your statement to police is being videotaped and audio taped. I did. And before they take you through your allegations, do you remember that the police cautioned you before they take your statement? Do you remember that? Caution me about what? Henein says that it is a criminal offense to make a false statement. Yes. All right. And you're also told about the offenses of mischief or obstruct justice. Do you remember that? Yes. And you're also warned by the police about fabricating evidence, right? Right. And you're told by the police that your statement and your decision to be in that police station was entirely voluntary. It was your choice. It was my choice. And do you recall that at the end of that, you confirmed that you understand the criminal consequences of giving a false statement? Yes. All right. And you confirm that your statement is voluntary, right? Like I said, yes. And then you take a Bible in your hand and you swear to tell the truth, right? I did. Those questions would be pretty scary to someone who's lied, but it's hardly whacking the witness. So Henein starts out reminding everyone about the crimes committed when a person lies under oath. It really should be part of the discussion resulting from this trial. Why aren't we talking about those crimes in more depth? All of those crimes were revealed in the course of this trial: public mischief, perjury, and obstructing justice. The time and resources of police, the expense of the trial, the destruction of a person's reputation using the media, the possibility that an innocent man might have gone to jail based solely on the statements made by this woman. These are serious things. I'm glad Marie Henein mentions them. The next thing she establishes is that the first complainant exchanged 38 emails with Toronto Police Detective Ansari. She thanked them for making her feel safe, and she obviously felt able to communicate with them if she felt that she'd made any errors or omissions in her complaint. Fair enough. No whacking going on there, just a reminder of all the opportunities she had to correct errors in her story. It comes out that Detective Ansari did do a bit of detective work. He got copies of the episodes of a show called Play that Ms. Redgrave said she'd attended, and he tried to confirm that she was actually there. But how much effort went into the entire investigation? We find out next. Henein asks Redgrave to confirm that her first and only police interview on November 1st, 2014, started at 1:42 p.m. and finished at 2:26 p.m. All right, and do you recall that the police actually, after you're allowed to tell your story to them, that the police questioning starts around 2:01, and they spend 25 minutes asking you questions? I was not aware of the time. Are you aware that they asked about a dozen questions about the incident in the car? I understand they asked me questions. I don't recall how many. Do you recall and it's not going to be disputed, that the total of time that you're asked questions by the police when you go in 13 years later is 25 minutes. Do you recall that? She says, I don't recall. I wasn't looking at the time. Henein, but you do recall that today you're in court. You know that there are 2 allegations of sexual assault pertaining to you that arose from that 25-minute period of questioning, right? Right. And the first one, just so we all have it, relates to the 2 to 3 second hair pull that you described in the car. Yes. That's 1 count of sexual assault, right? Yes. And the second one, because you asked the police about this, so you know what I'm assuming, the second charge of sexual assault relates to what occurred in the house. Do I have that? Yes. Now, when you speak to the police, do you recall that you had offered to show them a picture of your hair, and they didn't follow up on that? Yes, I do. And do you accept that the police never asked you, for example, to go with them to show them where the house was or what the area was that this occurred? Ask that again, please. Do you recall that the police never asked you to take them to the neighborhood where you say this occurred, where Mr. Ghomeshi lives? No, they didn't. And do you remember that at some point you told them that you had exchanged some emails with Mr. Ghomeshi? You told us about them today. Yes. About you coming in, and they never asked you to produce those emails. I don't have them. I don't even have the email account. But did they ask you to produce those emails? You recall they did not. I don't remember. I'm going to suggest to you, it's in the interview, that you tell them about it, and they don't say, can we take a look at those emails? I don't recall. Henein asks, did they ever ask you for your email address back in 2002 or 2003? She says, I don't have that email address, but I don't recall them asking me that, no. And am I right that they never, ever bring you back for a second interview, right? Yes, that's right. So who exactly is getting whacked here? If anything, it's Detective Ali Ansari of the Toronto Police. This was a huge event for the Toronto Police. They had allegations of sexual assault being published every day in every newspaper, gory details and all. They had women doing interviews on every medium available, except no one had come to them. They had to beg these women to come to the station and make a report so that the police could investigate. Now they have one of the women sitting in front of them, and they only ask questions for 25 minutes, with no follow-up interviews. 2 charges of sexual assault, and the only investigation they did was to get proof Linda Redgrave was present at a taping of the show Play. One of those charges was a claim that her hair was pulled really, really, really hard. Off to jail Jian would go. Police felt satisfied that if Linda was in the audience at one of Jian's shows, that probably means he pulled Linda's hair. Dust off hands. Job well done, Detective Ansari. So, what's going to happen in this trial? Because Marie Henein is the first person to care, we're going to have someone actually ask Linda Redgrave some questions. Detective Ansari didn't care about the details of Linda's hair, even when she offered him a photo. He didn't care about her email exchanges, not even enough to ask if she still had them. Marie Henein cares. She's got a few questions, and she actually did a bit of investigating. Marie Henein had to do the job of the police during the trial because, well, the police didn't do it. The public was very confused about how this case got to court without the police or prosecutor being better informed, and we were told that the police didn't screw up. They had to go on what the women told them, and they had no reason to search their emails or social media accounts. But it's deeper than that. The police, according to the evidence brought out in court, didn't even ask the complainant if she still had her emails. They didn't want to see them. They didn't care. I'm going to stop here for today and leave you with this for a public conversation that should result from this trial. What do we think police should do to protect the public resources that go into a trial? Do we expect them to investigate before pressing serious criminal charges? Should police actually investigate before putting a citizen on trial for charges that could deprive him of his liberty? send him to jail? Are we okay with having a society in which the police can arrest you for an accusation they haven't investigated? Because that's what happened to Jian Ghomeshi.